You live downtown in an American city and you need to go shopping for groceries. What would you need to get out of the house on a winter's day? Well, first, it should be close, because you may not want to take your car or bus or even Uber. 2, it should be convenient. Get the essentials you need today, you can always return tomorrow. Most important to get out of the house, away from the TV and computer and anything else that ties you to your home, it would be great if it were cool. This place isn't just cool, it's a cathedral. Welcome to the second episode of The Prophets of Aisle 6, Heinen's, downtown Cleveland. I'm here today to meet with Jeff and Tom Heinen, twin brothers and third-generation owners of the popular Ohio and Illinois chain of fine grocery stores, and who in 2015 took a big bet on the future of downtown Cleveland. The bet that a 1908 landmark building, which at one time served as a bank, could become the home of one of the world's most beautiful and engaging grocery stores. Built by George Brown Post, the architect best known for designing the New York Stock Exchange, the former Cleveland Trust Building has been entirely reconstructed as a 21st century urban food emporium. In the food retail industry, this is known as a small format store because it sells a smaller amount of products than typical supermarkets. But seriously, this has got the biggest concept for a small format store. But in the age of Amazon, it pays to think big if you're small. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you guys about the moment that we're in right now, and I think starting off with the fact that you're a 100-year institution and all the changes that you've gone through, just to talk about what are some of the priorities and how they fit into the overall mission at Heinen's.
So clearly competition has really heated up. Many other people have started to enter our market, just like all markets across the country. The internet delivery and click and collect continues to be a bigger part of people's businesses. The meal kit business, the home apron, home chef plated business is a bigger part of the business. And so it really has forced us to continue to focus how we create an experience for our customer. The brick and mortar solution won't survive very well without us upping up our game and creating an even better experience than what we have in the past. My grandfather started out by believing that people he hired and his team would be absolutely the biggest reason he'd be successful or would lead to failure. So that investment in people has always been there. And then he always believed in buying the best and selling the best. And what's evolved over time is what that really means. So for us, associate engagement is all about getting customer engagement. And it's pretty well documented that in today's world, customer engagement is a big part of whether you're going to be successful or not. The demographics downtown skew massively towards millennials, whereas our suburban stores, not quite as much. So this is a great opportunity for us to understand the millennial mindset, because let's face it, in the end, the millennials become our customers. The baby boomers are fading away, unfortunately, for all of us who are baby boomers.
Well, what's really interesting from our perspective is how a relatively small chain is so forward-thinking.
Being small, when you deal with data, is actually an advantage. You know, big companies are like driving a cruise ship. We're in a speedboat. We can change very quickly. What's really leveled the playing field for smaller companies is, in fact, good data-driven decisions.
We've spent many, many years, decades at this point, of investing in the training and development of our people so that they can deliver knowledge to our customers about the products they're selling. They can convey the passion they have about the products they're selling to the customer, so that that customer is going to the store and feeling a sense of energy. And so it's not so much a decision for us as this is a nice to have, this is an absolute must to have.
I later went up to the second floor to meet with Chris Foltz, head of operations, who the Heinens hired a while back to help the company modernize. Amongst other things, we spoke about the 4 Ps of marketing.
Yeah, it was a challenge. I mean, we took a bank building that had been empty for 30 years and we tried to turn it into a grocery store. And so, you know, they don't build banks to sell food. But we looked at it as a challenge, and more importantly, we looked at it as a way to deliver a different experience for our customers. We recognize experience is so important for all of our customers, but particularly for millennials who dominate the demographic downtown.
And what's the next stage? What's the next frontier in that journey?
You know, we had to create the platform of engaging our associates. And as I just said, data was so important in that. we're in this new disruptive phase now where we have Amazon and we have all of these other retailers and non-retailers, but digital retailers, I guess you could say. Now we recognize that we have to engage with our customers differently, because we've had data for a long time about how our customers behave, but we didn't use it as effectively as we could. And so now we're making investments in technology, in data science, that allows us to take that data and turn it into real insights about how our customers behave, and then use it to engage with them differently.
So Chris, you mentioned some of the P's there. We talked about people, we talked about product. What about the others? How are you looking at those?
Two of the important P's are price and promotion, and of course they've always been important to us, but we recognize that we need to look at those differently as the world has changed, and we're starting to use data to understand that better, and that's, in essence, is kind of the next chapter of how we can grow and engage with our customers differently.
You've worked for 39 years at Kroger, one of the largest retailers in the world, and now you're here working at Heinen's with 23 stores. Can you talk to me about how we're bringing it to life in a smaller retailer?
The principles of applying customer data science to retail apply whether you're a large retailer or a small retailer. So the thought that we can understand customers better than anyone and can then personalize our communications and our conversations with them is applicable regardless of the size of retailer. The smaller retailers are more nimble. They are the speedboats. We can activate change quickly. We can measure change quickly, fail fast, as we used to say, and then make adjustments, all informed by the data.
And so what's the next frontier in terms of price and promotions and the journey that we're on with Heinen's?
Yeah, I think it's to, again, understand which items and which promotions are really driving changes in customer behavior. Then beyond that, it's to personalize both those prices and the promotions. The Heinen brothers also introduced a fifth, by the way, in people. Personalization is an extension of that people kind of thinking. Let's make the shopping experience personal by engaging our staff and our employees. When we do that, it enhances and enriches the shopping experience. It makes a conversation possible.
And here, way up on the third floor, is award-winning Cleveland architect John Williams, who was tasked with the seemingly impossible job of converting the ancient bank, which has been closed to the public for almost a quarter century.
Most grocery stores or typical grocery stores don't have an enormous stained glass dome over their head. So that created lighting issues because as beautiful as it is, the green and yellow cast is not great for food display. And grocery stores are linear. There are grocery aisles that don't necessarily work well with round. It became pretty evident that the 1010 building, the building next to us, which is rectilinear, made more sense to have the grocery aisles over there. Everybody that walks in this building, the first thing they do is look up at the dome. Yeah. So, why not do the seating there as the communal place, as the forum, as the gathering place? And then we followed that also on the second floor so that in the wine area, there are booths, banquettes, where you can actually sit and look up.
Okay, so how did this all play out? How do Heinen's managers handle all the P's? Let's go shopping.
The data is very important as far as the amounts to order, the seasonality of the items, and what sells better at one time or another.
The data, what we do is we try to research to see what trends are out there. Could be cast iron skillet cooking. Works great here because of the urban environment, not a lot of grills. So we'll go and educate the meat managers on how to exactly use those, different ways to season it, and to make sure that you have a great meal.
We do what we call our weekly menu planning meeting, and we look at what we sell and we take the sales by day, by item, and we do projections for the upcoming week. This guides our culinary staff into what they should order and that what they need to prepare and the quantities they need to prepare on the various days that they offer it. So the sales data is integral to our operating a profitable business.
So David, you know the irony is that there's no aisle 6 in this store. It's too small.
Of course.
I was just wondering, what are your reflections after spending the day here with the Heinens?
I'm left with two impressions. I think the first is small retailer, big data. It's a good fit. The second is around how the data has helped really create a more human experience, a better, more personal shopping experience. I heard words like commitment to the community, like inspiration in this building, like empowerment in how employees are enabled and just given the authority, right? I heard romance when talking about the presentation of the food, and I heard listening. You know, big data is really just a form of listening to the customer and then being able to respond in a human way.
I think what really struck me is, in a time where all we're talking about is, you know, digital delivery, there isn't as much talk about the store. And the store is the real hero out of this story in terms of the transformation, right?
Of course, yeah.
They've obviously done a tremendous job to transform this space. They've created fantastic experiences for customers to come and to actually experience the store and be together. And they've then used data to curate it, right? So that those experiences are meaningful and relevant to the customers that they're trying to attract. I also love the humbleness of the Heinens, who are clearly very forward-thinking, but in learning about a new demographic, learning about a new format, learning about a new urban environment and setting, and also how forward-thinking they are in understanding that their existing stores in the suburbs need a strong, vibrant downtown, and that they're willing to commit and invest in that downtown.
Great story.
Cheers. And there you have it, the recipe and blueprint for a successful urban grocery experience. It's a challenging time for retailers everywhere, but with an enduring business proposition, the data to support it, and a commitment to the power of place, a new generation of retail innovators are helping to reshape the industry. We'll be back soon from another place to explore some of the other major challenges the industry is facing. Until then, cheers.